Hello everybody, welcome to a new tutorial on frames. In this video I would like to show you the envelope which you can find here. Okay, so let's start with loading under layer number 1 a patch. So let's use for example a base pulsar. Here it is. So let's adjust the number of grains down to the minimum for now. Okay, let's shift up the register a little bit more. Okay, let's adjust a bit the size as well, something like that. Okay, so let's go to the envelope. So we have two envelope generator, EG1 and EG2. If you recall, we have used EG2 when we talked about here EG2 to control the cutoff. Okay, and so we are going to reconnect that as well. So first of all, let's get familiar with the interface. So it is practically the same from left to right for both the two envelope generators. So you know how one works, so you know how the other one works as well. So let's focus on EG1, which by default is impacting or affecting the amplitude of the sound. So we have the classical control for attack, decay, sustain and release for your ADSR, which go from 0 to minimum. As you can see, as you move up, the curve will change here. So I'm increasing the attack here down to up to 1 as a maximum. Now the type of curve at the moment that is shown here is rapidly going up and then slowing down. That is determined by this dial here. So if I move it down to 0, the dial, you'll have this type of curve where it will slowly go up and then towards the end they go up very quickly, which you can change that and morph it into practically the opposite, where you have the amplitude going up very quickly then slowly going towards the top, okay, of the value. Then we have your decay, which you can increase again up to 1. And you can see how the envelope is moving to the right to allow more time for the sound to decay. It's going to decay to the level of the sustain. So if the level of sustain is up, it will decay very little or nothing, or you can make it down to 0, so it will drop a lot. And again, you can establish the curve for the decay. Again, down to 0, it will drop very quickly here and then will slowly gradually settle to the sustain value. Or you can have a different type of curve like that, which it drops down at the very end of that curve very quickly. You have your sustain level, which you can adjust from 0 to 1, and then you have your release. And again, you can adjust it from 0 to 1 in terms of how long you want that release to be, and you can also adjust again the curve in this way. The great thing is also that frame shows you with a dot where you are in terms of that envelope being generated towards your sound. So let's try. So as you can see, it went up slowly, decayed, and it stopped around here to your sustain level, and it waited for me to let go the key. When I did, the release took effect. Because it is a granular synthesizer, I have grains which are played, and so therefore is repeated here. Okay, as it is set to be in a loop, as we have seen through a previous video in the control section. Okay, of course you can change that. You can set it to end, for example, if you like. At the moment I prefer to stay as a loop. So let's go back to the envelope screen. So that is how you can affect the envelope and how you can make your adjustment. Now there is an interesting option here which is called Alt, where you can see here for alternative is a button. When you click on it, it changes the curve to max. As you can see, for the attack you have a max, for the decay you have a max, for the sustain you don't have a max as you didn't have a curve, but you have a max again for the release. This max is different from on the curve because it sets the time in milliseconds to reach the top of that curve, the end of the curve. So for the attack I could say take up to I don't know, 5 seconds to reach the top. So it will take up to 5 seconds to reach that level. The same on the decay, I can say take up another 5 seconds, 1000 milliseconds, 5.3 seconds to settle to the sustain level. You can make a more dramatic effect, of course, if you have a lower sustain, because it will drop more significantly. And let it go. Of course, it will quickly move down. But again, you could say go and spend another 5 seconds when I release. You see, I let go the note, and it took around 5 seconds for the release to complete. So that is how you use the max control, okay, which is very, very useful. Then you have also the possibility to link. Here there's a button called link, and this is very useful because if you have another let's say patch loaded in another layer, and if you have the link not active, what you can do, you can set, for example, layer 1 to have to see the envelope, and also on layer 2 to see the envelope again. And if you link them, which you can select from on the second layer or on the first layer, what will happen is that the two envelopes are linked for alteration. So look, if I change the attack, they both change from layer number 1 and layer number 2. So layer number 1 is active on the top and layer number 2 is active on the bottom. And this is useful if you have two patches. You want to make sure that when you have the envelopes for attack, the sustain, release in sync in terms of alteration. So you can change both attack at the same time, both decay at the same time, the same for the sustain going up and down at the same time, the same for the release. And this can be very, very handy. And the same on the curve. Look, you can change the curve as well at the same time. So let's unlink them for now, and let's link them back. You have an inversion as well, which inverts the curve. It does what literally it says. It inverts the envelope from a graphic perspective, and it's an interesting one. Not sure a lot of application, and you need to be careful in terms of transitioning the sound to very peak volumes depending on what the graph looks like, but nevertheless it can become useful. And then you have a sync options as well, which allow you to, as you can see now, the value would be sync to the BPM, so a quarter, half, etc. So if you want to synchronize the change, you can remember to enable the sync button. Next, you have two dials. One to change the attack for the velocity, and also another one to change the release for the velocity, which are very handy, particularly if you're using an external keyboard and or controller. As I mentioned, EG2 or envelope generator 2 is linked by default to the cutoff, and you can set that on a control. And so increment the EG2 in terms of intensity, then set your cutoff, something like that. Go back to the envelope, and now you will hear the envelope 2 taking effect. Let's change the attack to be much quicker, and also less move the max down to be very quick. as well. Okay, let's try again. And let's increase here the attack, like so, and the decay like so. Change the curve like that. Let's try again. Let's change the sustain to be very little so you can notice the difference, and the decay. You can hear that it impacted the cutoff in the way that it went up. So let's increase again the attack further, and let's change the curvature like that for the decay. Let's also go to the control and adjust the resonance as well to give a more dramatic effect, so you can listen better to the changes in envelope generator number 2. So hopefully you heard as it was going up through the curve of the envelope, the effect on the cutoff. And of course, if I click on the Alt button, I can increase the time, and let's say to 5 seconds for the attack. Let's change again, have more resonance. Let's cut off that. Okay, and try again. So hopefully you heard the envelope generator in impacting the cutoff. And of course, in the next video we are going to have a look at the metrics screen, where you can also set specific value on how the different envelopes will affect what parameters, but that is for the next video. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.